Have you ever had to wait a very long time for something? Have you ever waited for something, but you knew your chances of getting it were actually very slim? When I was a kid, it was so common to call radio stations for call-in promotions. If you were caller number 8 after a certain song played, then you could win a prize. I don't know exactly what the odds of winning were in that scenario, but we would sit by the phone with the radio station number ready to dial at the exact moment that we heard the designated song. And then you'd call, and most often you'd get a busy signal because others were calling at the same time. But every once in a while you would get through, and someone on the other end would say, "You're caller number 3, try again," or "You're caller number 7, try again." I cannot tell you how many times I did this in elementary school, but it was a lot. And as many times as I called, I was never caller number 8, and I never won the prize. Most days I wouldn't get through at all, but every now and then when I would hear, "You're caller number 2, it would give me hope that maybe one day I would be the one who won. In Jesus' day, people believed that if they were the first person who could get into the water of a particular pool at a particular moment when the water stirred, that they would be healed. They thought that being first in this pool at some exact moment in time would bring healing to them. While that seems strange to us today, it was the belief of the time. Well, one man was paralyzed. That meant he was unable to use his legs. Because of that, he had very little chance of getting into the water first, and so very little chance to be healed in this way. But he had some little bit of hope, and so he sat by the pool each day, waiting for the water to stir, hopeful that somehow he might be able to be the first one in the pool so he could be healed. The man had been trying to be the first one in the pool for 38 years. Jesus saw this man, and Jesus knew what the man's needs were. He saw the man who was kind of stuck at the very back of the line, and he asked him, would he like to be healed? Jesus met this man's needs and told him to take up his mat and walk. The man did, but some of the religious leaders fussed at him for carrying his mat on the Sabbath, the day of rest. But the man said, "The one who healed me told me to take my mat and walk." Later, Jesus saw the man and said, "My Father is always at work to this very day, so I am working too." There are people around us who are at the very back of the line without much hope for getting the help they need. Jesus sees these people and invites us to see them too. Not just to see them, but to reach out to them and offer help to them to get the healing that they need. Just as we saw last week, Jesus is always working, sometimes in ways we can't see, but we might be the very way that God wants to help and heal someone else if we'll keep our eyes open and be willing to be used by God.